Hi, my name's Chris and welcome to the number one support workers advice line. Today I'd like to talk about other carers out in the community. Do society a favour. If you see somebody in the community who is obviously caring, is a paid carer for an individual with an intellectual disability and they are on their phone, go up and say something. Words to the effect of, I know you're on the books, what are you doing on the phone? Especially if you see them on a Saturday, which is in middle Australia a good $45 an hour, or a Sunday is $60 an hour. All too often I am walking around frustrated seeing people out in the community with carers, and the carer is sitting across from them at a cafe, not engaging with the client. They are on their phone. Another handy trick that I see around is people on AirPods marching through the centre of town with a person with an intellectual disability in tow, 5 or 6 steps behind, and then nattering away to their loved ones elsewhere. This really needs to stop. It is disrespectful to the client. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. It is perpetuating a really lazy attitude on behalf of the support workers. This is just one of those things that can be pointed out where some people get in the industry because they think it's an easy run. They're out on community access, they get paid to go around, pick up the client, they get paid the kilometres to drive the client to wherever the client wants to be, whether it be to a cafe, whether it be out in the community, walking around a museum. They're getting top dollar to care for the client. And they're not caring. They're too busy scrolling through their phone or nattering away to their people. It has to stop. It is disgusting to see. Also, they're not reported. The client isn't able to report this. Clients are usually, all too often I'm seeing a client just staring off into space, eating their muffin and having a little cup of joe. The client is sitting across from them, the worker's sitting across from them with nothing in front of them, just their phone, just doing their thing. May I remind, going up, and even if it's got to be nuanced, even if you've got to do it subtly, you don't have to be angry about it, you don't have to be emotional and shut everything down. You can go up to the client and say, hello, have I met you before? Are you having a good day? And then you can alerts the support worker into, most clients know other people in the community via family, or there's other, your other service providers around that have worked with the client over the years. That's what I do. You go up and say, hey, don't I know you from somewhere? Talk to the client. And then you can subtly hint to the support worker, well, it's nice to see you spending time with the client. It's a free lunch. Free lunch. Middle Australia, out on community access, on the weekends, on your phone, not with the client, not engaging with the client, just doing the bare minimum, setting them up with a little, doing the pulling out the chair, sitting the client down, getting him a muffin, getting him a cupcake, getting him a coffee, and not having anything to eat yourself. It's so disrespectful, let alone just not making eye contact, not making conversation. Look, I get fired up about this one. Look, not perfect, did a lot in my, early 20s, said I fell into it myself, but learnt over the years. Great frustration to me as when I was in a management role. Absolutely needs addressing. Especially when it's obvious they are doing one-on-one in the community. So it's just a one-on-one situation. The client has been collected, taken out from their group. This is their day out, and they pay top dollar out of their NDIS funding. $60 an hour. They're paying an organisation nearly $100 plus an hour to be taken out for the day. I tell you, gentle but effective advocacy to the service provider, if it's known, is very effective. You can ask the client's name. You can in that conversation, go, oh, so who are you with now? Who's looking out for you now? Where are you living now? And you might, if it's a verbal client, you might even get some answers to that. So, weekend pay rates, top dollar. Carers are sometimes younger than you think too. Like, they're out in the community, people from other backgrounds, whatever. I look reasonably young as well. Thank you very much. But we don't quite know how old the carer is, so we can do it with a view to, developing them in their skills. As a service, if you're watching this, you're likely in the industry. Don't let it happen. Just you know what's right. Go and talk to them. Carers may be experiencing mental health, so as a way of addressing it, carers may be experiencing hard times themselves. So the gentle approach, the gentle nuanced approach, such as described, hey, don't I know you from somewhere? Oh, and where are you from? These gentle sort of highlights that people are in the community and they're interested. Well, certainly more interested than the paid support worker. Anyway, what I'm getting at is approach with caution, but you don't have to shy away from it. It is your business. It is everyone's business. Certainly, if you got a kid with you as well, you could come. Well, what I'd do is make an approach and then say, "Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?" And then have my child watching this interaction, then have a little talk about it afterward in a gentle way. I get all huffy and puffy about carers in the community neglecting their clients, but yeah, that's because I'm a frustrated, crusty old welfare worker. So, with that, helping carers to know where they are, what context they're in, what sort of they're in a community setting, therefore they're going to be approached by community members. Assisting carers to know where they are by I'll pull it back. Sorry, ex-bosses. I'll peel it back. Helping carers helps us all. It'll certainly help the client. It'll make the carer aware that they do have eyes on them when they're out in the community the Sunday after or the Saturday after. But please be aware, just have a bit of sensitivity because the carer may be a relative. And then it's not really our place. But those sort of relationships really do stick out. Alright, well, thanks for listening to my courteous rant. And do society a favour and pull up the carer. Pull up the paid carer in the community for being on their phone and not eating with the client at a cafe.